Welcome back. Now, the Western Regional Minister nominee, Dr. Kweku Efriye, has bemoaned the growing perception of child labor in the cocoa sector, which he describes as grossly exaggerated. During his vetting by Parliament's Appointments Committee, Dr. Efriye insisted that child labor was not a problem in the cocoa sector and blamed a cultural disconnect for the perception.
It's an image problem, and which is intertwined with our cultural values. If you come to my village and about 4 o'clock, you will find a child turning the cocoa over. I do not classify it as child labor.
Right, so let's take you through some of the statistics of child labor and the current situation in the country before we go into a detailed discussion of that. Now, the figures show that an estimated 1.9 million children are involved in child labor in Ghana, and of this figure, these children, they are mostly 5 to 17 years of age and engaged in child labor. So, well, anyone who gets the impression that these are misrepresented or over-exaggerated might be joking about the situation. But these figures we gave you are sourced from the Child Labor Interagency Country Report of February 2016. Right, so we have James Annan joining us Kofi Annan joining us for a discussion on this matter. Ms. Annan, how are you? Thank you very much. I know you've been doing quite a great amount of work in trying to reduce the incidence of child labor in the Volta region and other places you've worked. When you hear ministerial nominees say that the problem of child labor in cocoa growing areas is over-exaggerated, what go on in your mind?
Well, it's rather unfortunate that we'll have a very high profile personality in government making such a pronouncement. It actually hurts the efforts, in addressing the issue of child labor. And sometimes I'm tempted to describe such pronouncements as quite irresponsible because it weakens the activists who are at the forefront of fighting against child labor. Just recently, as recent as last week, the Ghana government was in the UN talking about child labor, and I remember in the report our name, Challenging Heights, was even mentioned. And I also know that government has on its own taken some steps. For instance, we have the Children's Act that mentions child labor in sections 12 and so on and so forth. We have the National Plan of Action Against Child Labor that was supposed to have eradicated child labor by the year
So
2015.
all these policies are in existence, and
so
all these are commitments made by governments, whether NDC or MPP government. It is the Ghana government. So I'm sure that you're saying this on the back of the fact that if based on all these commitments governments have made, anyone going to be in charge of a sensitive area like that could say that it's over-exaggerated, then we all need to be doing a rethinking.
Of course. I mean, if you look at the figure that you turn out, the figure is not coming from me. The figure is coming from ILO. ILO is an international organization that is in a tripartite relationship with government. So when they produce a report, you want to believe it. This same report also came from the Ghana Statistical Service. My worry so much is coming from the fact that this statement has been made by the Western Regional Minister designate.
Where the problem is endemic.
You are talking about child labor in mining, which is huge in Western region. You're talking about child labor in cocoa, which is a big problem in Western region. Now we are seeing a phenomenon of a child in prostitution in the Western region because of the oil find.
Yeah.
And so if we have a minister who is going to be in charge of Western region making such a pronouncement, then we are in trouble. I would like to see...
But you wouldn't say that, before you continue, you wouldn't say that the information or data on child labor is perhaps skewed, you know, and it's not a true reflection of the situation on the ground?
I wouldn't say that.
Or you wouldn't say that
at
all?
You just have to walk through the streets of Accra to see...
And the evidence is there.
And the evidence is there. I mean, in the cocoa, what I suspect the Honorable Minister was trying to say is that he doubts if there's child trafficking in cocoa. Now, that has been the biggest contentious issue with government over the years, that they don't believe that there's slavery in cocoa, they don't believe that there's trafficking, child trafficking in cocoa. That one, I would even dispute that, but I would say that if there's any trafficking in cocoa, it will be a very small number. But in terms of child labor, it is so preposterous. Let me give you an example. You go to a cocoa community that has only a primary school. If you finish primary school, it feels like you have completed your education.
Gone, but you're nowhere.
You are nowhere. But you have to, if you want to continue your education, you have to walk maybe 3 hours to the nearest village to be able to access JHS. So those who finish primary school, the next thing is for them to work in the cocoa areas, in the cocoa farms. You have so many communities that don't have schools at all. So the parent, especially you know, our polygamous society, the father has so many children in the house, and when he wakes up, he works with his children in the cocoa farms. And we see it. I mean, we did in 2009, 2010, we did a collaboration with government itself. And we removed 240 children from cocoa areas from child labor in Esukuma, Odobin, Brakwa, and in Swedru. This is a collaboration between government and the private sector. So what are we talking about? We should admit that we have a big problem to solve. Once we admit, then we can provide solution to it. But if we start by denying, then there's nothing we can do.
But let's look at the problem. Now that you've raised it, that you think that as Ghanaians, both government and citizens should wake up to the reality that this is a big problem. How big is the problem?
I mean, you put up a figure of 1.9 million children who are in child labor.
Yeah.
Let me give you, in 2003, the report was that 1.3 million children were in child labor. So if you have a figure of 1.9 in 2016...
It means the situation has deteriorated.
Exactly. Then we have over 200,000 children who are involved in the worst forms of child labor. There are differences. Those in child labor are not necessarily in worst forms of child labor. Maybe they go to the farm, they work, but they have in between, some of them go to school, or they don't work long hours. Those kinds of people are termed as in child labor. But those who don't go to school at all, they work from morning to evening. They are the worst. They are involved in worst.
Are these children forced to work or compelled, coerced, or what? I mean, what will make a child who is supposed to be of school-going age not go to school and choose to be on the farm or fishing on the Volta Lake, for example?
You see, and I'm glad you have mentioned the Volta Lake. We have over 21,000 children working in trafficking in Volta Lake. So their problem is huge. On the Volta Lake, we have 49,000 children who are there working. But out of that, 21,000 can be found to be in West form child labor, in trafficking, in slavery, and so on and so forth. Now, what will compel a child to work instead of going to school? We're talking about parents whose occupation is fishing.
So poverty is the main thing.
Poverty is the main thing. And we are also here talking about parents who are poor and therefore sell their children. And my word is selling their children to other fishermen to work with. And when they sell their children, there's a contract, and they work for long hours, sometimes 17 hours a day, working. And you know how much some of them are sold for? 50 Ghana cedis.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. But that is the situation. And you and I would have to admit that is the situation we are confronted with, and therefore we must work to provide solution to it.
Right,
Don't
James.
deny it.
Mr. Kofi Annan, we're grateful for your time. I know that we would love to discuss this a little longer, and we're very confident that with time we will get to the bottom of these issues and work with you more closely to unveil some of the alarming statistics we're hearing and reading about on child labor. This is News at 10.